Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you see and hear me okay? I apologize. I am in a co-working space. I moved, and my internet won't be set up until until Friday. So this has been a little bit of a pain in the ass, and I wanted to get this done. I wanted to start like literally an hour ago, but my Lyft ride was late here, and then they were like, "We don't know what room you're in, and you're in the wrong floor." And I'd never been to one of these co-working places, so it was a raving pain in the ass. And so there's this dumb glare on this screen. So we're just gonna get it done anyway. Sounding good, vegan guns. I'm glad you like this. No, wait, this is not a new studio, not even by a long shot. I wish. I had to move again, so the Wi-Fi won't get set up till Friday, and I'm hoping then to go live Friday afternoon. They're coming Friday morning, and I will have my normal setup with my TV in the background and all that stuff. So that's what it's going to have to be. I apologize. I almost didn't go live today because it was an insane hassle. But we are live on Facebook. We are live on rockfin.com. I can hear the people in the next conference room talking. It's fantastic. So please go to rockfin.com/Graham. What a great way to support the show, like Bill Nye, the highest guy, has done. Shave your knuckles for justice, Bill. And Melissa H. Boom! Shave your knuckles for justice. Got a PPP loan. Will be forgiven and will be great because I can pay myself with the loan and use the saved money to pay vendors and improve the store. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to look at that. I don't want to go in any more debt, but if these loans are going to be forgiven, I'm going to take one. I know I got some EIDL money a year ago, and they said there's still more of that money available and it's all forgiven. So that's what's going on. That is what is going on. Yes, so I am in a co-working space. For those of you just tuning in, I moved, and my Wi-Fi, the place I was in, they put it up for sale, so I had to leave. And the new place, the Wi-Fi, there was a delay. It was supposed to be set up next. Wi-Fi and all this great stuff. So anyway, mic check. You don't hear me? Lost the sound. No sound. I don't know why. It says fine here. Huh. How about that? Is that better? There's no sound. It's back. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. And so this live stream, I wanted to start an hour ago. I was going to go live for 2 hours and then do Savage. I'm going to be a guest on Savage Joy's show in about an hour. But I'll just, I will just, what will I do? I will just, there. I will just, yeah, simulcast her show. I am in a secret underground bunker. Yeah, I think I'm just going to simulcast the Savage Joy show. So we'll just keep going live. So I'll do an hour here, do a couple segments, and then I'll be on Joy's show. And we'll just have a great time. Meow, meow, meow. So I'm in a secure underground bunker, and thank you to everybody. Please hit the like button regardless of where you're watching. Yeah, the sound just went out for like 10 seconds. I don't know why. Hit the like button, share this on your social media. Kate is our moderator. Would you mind linking your video of crypto mining? I don't know that I have a video of crypto mining. What are you talking about? I don't crypto mine. Secure underground overhead bunker greenhouse. That is correct. Okay, let's get into a segment. Let's get into a segment. All right. I really don't like this. Let's try it. Let's see if we can slide. Is that better? That's better. Excuse me. That's better. Now we can kind of see the screen behind me. All I did was just put it up on my YouTube page. So maybe I'll make sure this co-working space subscribes to my channel. I'll sign with your Google, whatever, forget it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Truth to Tweet, what's up? Gamer for Life, Holly Horn, Melissa H, Robert. Silence is Violence, Brandon. Yep. All right, here we go. Oops. All right. Yeah, I like that down. Okay. Get this queued up. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. We're in a temporary space right now. I'm in a co-working space. I had to move. They sold my unit in my old place. The new place, it's been a delay in getting my Wi-Fi set up. So hopefully soon I'll be back in my normal studio setup, but I just wanted to cover some stories for you. Not the least of which is this. Oh, Biden administration. Intent. No, we don't want that. Dumb robots. Biden administration. I'm gonna fucking close this. Nope. Oh, I get this dumb banner ad out of there. There's no way to take it down. There's no way to take it down. Oh, hold on, everybody. Oh, how do I get these fucking stupid ads out of there? Jesus. Okay. Sorry. Ugh, I'm not used to this at all. Boom. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. I apologize. We are in a temporary workspace. I had to move. They sold my unit and my new place. There's been a delay in getting my Wi-Fi set up. So this is where we're at. It's temporary. We will be back in the regular studio with the cool screen behind us. But I still wanted to get you some stories, and I really appreciate you supporting what we're doing. Of course, we're in our third month of demonetization from YouTube. So please, please, please support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. You get a bunch of bonus content, and you can really support what we're doing. But I wanted to talk about this. So Joe Biden, right? He's Mr. he's so much better than Trump. He's Mr. Peace. He's the two parties. There's such a huge difference between both of them, right? That's why Joe Biden is going to keep this arms deal going. Biden administration moving ahead with UAE F-35 drone sales for now. I've done stories about the F-35. It has been a complete boondoggle waste of time. $1.5 trillion for the F-35, and it doesn't even work that great. But they've had to keep spending money after dollar after dollar after dollar. And what do we get? What do we get? It could, $1.5 trillion could give everybody Medicare for all. It could wipe out student debt. No, but here's the story. The U.S. State Department is moving forward with the sale of F-35 Joint Strike Fighters and MQ-9 drones to the UAE, a decision which will now face a legal challenge from a nonprofit seeking to halt the weapons agreement. Well, good for that not-for-profit. At stake is the arms package approved in the waning days of the Trump administration. So do you understand what that? Trump approved this. Biden gets into office, and he's going to keep it going. Because the war machine does not care, Republican, Democrat, doesn't care. Doesn't care. What they're hoping is that everybody goes back to brunch and stops paying attention and is okay with war when a Democrat does it. I mean, that was the most beautiful thing beautiful victory for them, not for us, when they were like, oh my God, Obama is bombing the Middle East. He's setting it on fire. He's dropping more bombs than Bush, but the liberals are saying, yay, they go back to brunch. That's what they want. So here's what's also included in this deal. 50 F-35s, 18 MQ-98 Reapers, as well as thousands of munitions and hundreds of missiles. The total sale comes with an estimated $23 billion price tag. So it cost $1.5 trillion just to develop the F-35 to make it possible. Now they're selling them at whatever they are per unit. In December, the New York Center for Foreign Affairs Policy filed a legal claim that the Trump administration failed to provide a reasonable explanation for its decision to sell F-35 fighter jets and other weapons to the UAE, which would place it in breach of the Administrative Procedure Act. Hey, I'm all for it. However you can stop war, I'm all for it. Stop it in any way, shape, however you can do it, get it stopped. The Biden administration announced a blanket review of all recent arms sales cleared by the Trump administration. While it notably froze a pair of weapons deals for Saudi Arabia, the administration never put in place a hard freeze on the U.S. equipment. Now, let's just look at this deal real quick. Let's bring up this. Boeing Raytheon missile sales to Saudi Arabia paused by the Biden administration. Now, this is critical here. Read this footage. Read this word paused. Why is it paused? Because it's giving the appearance that Biden is going to be tough on Saudi Arabia. We're pausing arms sales. We're not going to come down on them for killing Khashoggi. We're not going to come down on them for, what they're doing in Yemen, because we're profiting from it as well. I mean, we are basically in a proxy war with Iran in Yemen. That's what it is. And so we're totally okay with allowing the Saudis to do whatever they want to do in Yemen. And the blockade, which is literally starving people. We've had 85,000 dead children in Yemen. So this is just more of I want this to be real clear. The word pause is very critical here, because this is more of the performative acts of the Democratic Party. But it won't really, let's read the details of this story, right? In Defense News, right? So, the Biden administration has paused indefinitely 2 precision-guided munition sales to Saudi Arabia worth as much as $760 million. So just pause 2 things. It's part of a new policy aimed at curtailing violence in Yemen. Curtailing. Now, America could end the war in Yemen right now, today, and it won't. So this is just the incremental centrism of the Democratic Party that appears like it's so different from the Republicans, but the war machine is still going, right? The war machine is still going. So this was back in February when they did. U.S. ends support for the Saudi-led war in Yemen. Biden to announce end to U.S. support for the Saudi-led coalition waging war in Yemen. We'll see about this. I highly doubt it. So the two deals include Ford military sale case for 3,000 Boeing-made GBU-39 small diameter bombs. God, we just sell death and destruction around the world. That's all we do. We just sell death and destruction. The second is a direct commercial sale for Raytheon Technologies munitions, likely the reported 478 million sale of 7,000 paveway 4 smart bombs. I wonder how many schools that would build. How many schools? $478 million of these bombs. It's just, is it possible that further Saudi weapon sales may be paused or outright canceled in the future as the Biden administration has announced a wide-ranging review of weapon sales cleared by the Trump administration? According to a White House spokesperson, arms sales to Saudi will go back to the traditional arms sale oversight process. Let me translate that for you. We're going to still sell weapons to the Saudis. We're just going to make it seem like, and dummy vote any blue will do liberals will go, see, Biden is better. Oh, we're having a review process before we still end up selling them bombs that will fucking destroy people and ruin people's lives in the Middle East. We will have a review process, but we'll still spend the money. We're still going to spend the money. We're still going to spend the money. So let me just show you. Let me just show you. Let me just show you. I'm just going to ecosia.org. Biden's military budget. This is from The Hill. This is 5 days ago. Biden requests $753 billion defense budget, a slight increase. So I'm sorry. I really want you to see hold on, let's do it this way. I really want you to see how ridiculous this is. I really want you to see this. He's still going to get a slight increase in his war budget. He's still going to President Biden is requesting a $753 billion defense budget for next fiscal year, with $715 billion of that going to the Pentagon. The 2022 proposed budget represents a slight increase over this year, likely to upset both progressives who sought cuts to Pentagon budgets and defense hawks. The budget outline released Friday does not detail exactly what the money would buy. Why do we need to detail anything? The Pentagon just gets whatever they want. With more comprehensive proposal expected later this spring. A fact sheet released by the White House said the Defense Department budget prioritizes the need to counter the threat from China. Counter the threat from China. Oh, we outspend. Okay, we're just going to keep doing this. We're just going to just keep using. Let's just go back to ecosia.org. China's military budget. This is last year's military budget, $178 billion military budget. So, okay, let's do some simple math, okay? Let's do some simple math, you guys. I'm going to take the $753 billion budget of Joe Biden. So we're just going to take 753 minus 178 equals $575 billion more. We spend 500, let me put that right there, $575 billion more than China. And we're worried about China's military? We're worried about China's military. Okay, really? So this is, the overall budget includes Pentagon funding and non-Pentagon programs such as Department of Energy nuclear weapons funding. Oh, Biden's going to keep some nukes going. While the administration proposes a budget, it's up to Congress to fund the government. Lawmakers routinely deviate from or sometimes simply ignore presidential budget requests. They'll give them more. And this is where, by the way, the so-called progressive caucus could come in and go, no, we're only going to approve $500 million, but this is insane. If we cut this in half, okay, all right, I'm sorry we're doing just a basic math program for everybody. So this is how much $575 billion is the difference. So let's just take this, 753 divided by 2 equals 307. So if we cut our military budget in half, this would be half of 753. That's still almost $200 billion more than China's budget. Theirs is 178. So if we cut our budget in half, we would still outspend China by $200 billion. And this is part of in Raytheon. Okay, this is in Raytheon. You know, they're a big part of this. So why, G. Graham, why are you bringing up Raytheon? Why am I bringing up Raytheon? I don't know. Why does Raytheon pop into my mind? Joe Biden's secretary. I'm just doing this online. Joe Biden's Secretary of Defense. Retired General Lloyd Austin is Secretary of Defense nominee. Oh wow, first black man. That's impressive. Oh, that's really impressive what he's doing. Wow, Lloyd Austin, former commander of U.S. Central Command, would make history, the first black person to lead the Pentagon. Wow, that's amazing. Look at all this history. It's such history. Why? So he's not a general anymore. He's not. What is he doing? Let's look through the article. I don't know where is he? What is he doing? What is he up to? Where is it listed here? I know he's got a job somewhere. Let's just, I don't know, I'm going to just copy and paste this, and I'm going to just put Raytheon. What comes up? It's all through Reuters. Everybody, Lloyd, look at this. Oh, well. Reuters. Everything's about, oh, he's the first. He was voted 93-2 in a 100-member chamber. Oh, man. This is amazing. This is amazing. He is on. We have China and Russia out there with capabilities that we didn't really believe we would find ourselves with. Oh, boy. He retired from the Army in 2016. Gee, they just keep leaving out this important thing as you scroll through this. Oh, Austin's nomination also prompted questions about his former position on the board of defense contractor Raytheon Technologies. Austin has pledged to fully divestify from Raytheon within 90 days of his confirmation. Oh, isn't that weird? So the bomb machine keeps going. The bomb machine keeps going. and we have Raytheon as the Secretary of Defense. This is how it shakes out. So this is why Biden is still going to sell weapons, a deal put in place by Trump at the end of Trump's presidency. Biden is going to keep it going. I'm showing you this to show you that there aren't two parties in this system. There's the ruling elites and everybody else. And part of the ruling elites are the defense contractors. The war machine never ends. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. The most diverse cabinet ever. All right, a bunch of warmongers. And the vote any blue will do liberals will be congratulating themselves at brunch over the fact that now women and people of color can bomb and profit. The American war machine rolls on. So look around your neighborhood. Is there anything that needs fixing? Are there any homeless people that could use housing? Do you have kids in school and your schools need more funding? Are they cutting programs in school? We're cutting the arts, we're cutting music, we're cutting sport programs. We just don't have the money, but we got money. We got $153 billion for our war machine. $153 billion for our war machine. But you don't get free health care. And your kids don't get free college. And we don't treat homeless people with dignity and give them homes. We don't have a government pension program to ensure that everybody in this country, when they become a senior citizen, is taken care of, like they do in other countries. We don't have any of those things. But we got bombs and we got war. Support what we do. Shave your knuckles for justice. Ba-boom. Thank you, everybody. Let's go over to the Rock Fund. Over at rockfin.com, folks, a great way to support the show. You can do what Chris is doing. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I appreciate you supporting the show. And of course, I have a Venmo. You can ask me questions and support the show on Venmo. And I have a PayPal button. All of that's at grahamelwood.com. Also, what was I going to tell you? Yeah. Oh, my political vigilante merchandise is for sale. So that logo right there, the PV logo, you can get that on a mug. You can get that on a t-shirt. Ships anywhere in the US. No international shipping yet. Sorry, I'm working on that. But check that out. So Chris, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, thank you for supporting us at rockman.com. When you have a chance, please DuckDuckGo Fresno Proud Boy Cop. His racist fascist ad got fired last week, and he's still running his piggy mouth, crying all the way about not being allowed to be a terrorist. Oh, what a bunch of maggots. I'll check that out. You got it. Melissa H. What's up, Melissa? Graham, thank you so much for making the extra effort to get a space to go live, especially with having just gone through a move. You rock. I appreciate it, Melissa. Thank you. I almost, I got to spend, it's like, it's $25 an hour for this space. So it's not like killing me, but it's still, I got to spend money to do this. That's why I just like doing it at home, because I can just do it at home and then I get a lift here and everything because I'm moving. I had to move to a place. I don't have a car yet. Anyway, thank you for supporting what we do. I appreciate it. Tony DeMayo, ba-boom. So they have billions for weapon sales, but they can't use that money for Medicare for all. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Biden's asking for a military budget approval increase. And they'll probably give it to him. If they don't give it to him, they'll cut it by like $5 billion and be like, we're only approving $730 billion in budget. Oh, wow. And everyone will go, oh boy, that's real change. That'll make the progressives happy. What? What? Like, what? Is Biden a bigger war hawk than Trump? Yeah, he is. Look at his 8 years of vice president. Look what that was like under Obama. Look what they did. He will absolutely be more of a war hawk. Bill Nye, the highest guy, shave your knuckles for justice. The U.S. will be balkanized after World War III, which will start during Biden's presidency. It's a bold prediction, but I stand by it. I mean, and I think if I understand correctly, when you say balkanized, you mean like the country's just going to get divided up and we're going to, yeah. Which, you know, Yugoslavia used to be one country. Now it's Bosnia. Now it's, you know, all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's very realistic. I mean, it's not an outlandish prediction. It's not an outlandish prediction. People might just be like, I mean, you still have this looming economic collapse. You still have like the potential real estate collapse. You still have all that stuff happening. And if we're in this never-ending state of war and we're ramping up all the war stuff, I really don't see that as going well for anybody. I really don't. So, and America could just fractionalize off into different, you know, the red states in the South just want to outlaw black people from voting or just make them slaves again or whatever fucking monstrous bullshit they want to do. Just so, yeah. Kate, shaving knuckles for justice. I asked my ex-military friend if the government will take out troops and put in private contractors, and he said 100% yes. I'm sorry. Yes, of course they would. The reason being is several reasons why America would gladly swap out, you know, soldiers or whatever for private contractors. First of all, private contractors especially in the Middle East, don't have to adhere to the rules of engagement. They can just go kill people and do whatever they want. They're not held accountable. When a U.S. service member, a Marine, you know, Army, whatever, does something outside the rules of engagement, there's some type of oversight and repercussions, you know, like the soldier, the commanding officer can be held accountable. All this stuff can happen. Now, it doesn't happen that often because they use the same excuses the cops do. Oh, we had to, you know, he had an apple in his pocket. We thought it was a grenade, so we blew him away or whatever. But at least there's something kind of in place compared to the private contractors. There's nothing. There's nothing. They can do whatever they want. So I'm not surprised your friend said that because it feels accurate to me. Tony DeMeo, boom. Israel has universal health care with our aid. That must end. Yeah, God, I don't know why I keep yawning. Kate put in the chat, grahamelwood.com/shop. Yo, Graham, can we send any ERC20 coin to your ETH address? I binged through your entire Epstein playlist, and holy fuck, death and torture to the ruling class. You did great work, bro. Never letting it go. Thank you, Spike. Yes, I will keep going on the Epstein case. I don't know if you can do that to my ETH address. I don't know. You can send me Ethereum. Obviously, I have a Bitcoin address as well, but I don't know if you can. Yeah, Whitney Webb's amazing. My guess is you'd have to just send Ethereum to that. That's what I would guess. Let's just check real quick what's going on with the crypto coins. Bitcoin, 63,500. It just broke yesterday, another all-time high. Ethereum just hit an all-time high. It's at 2,400. Oh, snap. I love it. Chris, shaving knuckles for justice. Can you tell the difference between a taser and a gun? I thought the weight and yellow color of a taser would be an obvious sign, praying for all those suffering from these senseless police violence and thuggery. I am also still in an angry mood seeing the black uniform army officer get pepper sprayed in his own car. You see that? it's like, I haven't seen it because I can't, this is the thing that just like, now that like, hey, we're getting back to normal. Back to normal is there's a mass shooting every week. And at least once, I think almost once a day somehow, there's some cop abusing their power. And I hate to say this, it's embarrassing. I can't keep track of all of them. I can't keep track of all of the unarmed black people that the cops have killed. I can't keep track of all of the mass shootings. I can't. It's like, we're back to normal. Yay, we've opened up. Back to normal. This is back to normal in America, everybody. A mass shooting every week. And almost every, I mean, at least a couple times a week, a cop shooting, killing somebody. More than percentage-wise, the person they will kill will be black. I mean, Lee Camp, when we did Government Secrets, talked about that. It's 1,000 shootings a year. Cops kill about 1,000 people a year, which is almost 3 people a day. I have been following the Chauvin trial, and they just finally brought some defense witnesses, and this one guy saying, "Oh, this was totally reasonable force." After a week of all these cops and chief of police, everybody saying it was too much force, it was excessive force, he was handcuffed, they didn't need to do it, and then one guy comes forward who considers himself a use of force expert. I don't know how that one guy's going to stand up against this. So I don't know. Considering there's still riots and protesting in Minneapolis again, because another unarmed black man was killed by Minneapolis police. If Chauvin gets acquitted, America is going to go up for grabs. It will go up for grabs if Chauvin gets acquitted. So while the U.S. media pushes for a new Cold War, Graham went and volunteered to entertain the troops of the USO during Afghan comedy. Yeah. I thank you, Kate, for bringing that up. Afghanistan Comedy Downrange is my documentary that I did of performing in Afghanistan, and it's available at Rockfin Premium. Is my face frozen up? It looks like it has on Rockfin. Has it frozen up on YouTube? Boom, boom, boom. It looks jittery on Rockfin. He has to be found guilty. Yes. Yeah, Chauvin has to be found guilty. If he's not, this country's going to go up for grabs. Yeah, for those of you just tuning in, I'm in a co-working space because I had to move. My unit got sold. The place I was in got sold, and the new place, there's been a delay. I thought the Wi-Fi was going to get set up Sunday, but they couldn't figure it out. So the one company couldn't figure it out, which was actually a good thing, because then I found out that this other company, their Wi-Fi or their internet service is included in the buildings, but I just had to get them to set it up, and they had to cancel the account of the old person that lived there, blah, 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 blah. So, Graham, did you get the stuff I sent? I will. It should be arriving soon. The Australian Senate is having an inquiry into the Murdoch media monopoly. Ooh, that's good news. All right, let's do another segment. I had another segment I wanted to do. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, there's something I wanted. Hold on. There's a hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. Kate, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you, Kate. In Chicago, we had a shooting of a 13-year-old with a gun, and the officer camera video will be public. Oh, God, a 13-year-old. And instead of reassuring residents of a fair trial, Lightfoot said she's putting up the bridges downtown. Wow. Love strong leadership. Man, Lori Lightfoot's an awful mayor. She's awful. Pulling up the bridges basically is like cutting off downtown and where the court will be to make it harder for people to come down and protest, is my guess, is why she's doing it. But you can still take trains. And what is she going to shut down the trains? You still take trains into that part of the loop. God, she's dumb. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. All the elites have their escape plans. They know what's going on. Yes, Pat, the Batman fan. Yes, they do. All right, let's do this segment. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the political, there it is, political vigilante. We're in a temporary co-working space. I had to move the building I was in, or the unit I was in got sold, and my new place doesn't have internet yet. There's been a delay, so I just didn't want to not do any segments for you. So we're just in this co-working space. So thanks for bearing with us, but I wanted to talk about this in particular, this topic, because this means a lot to me. Joe Biden is talking about, there it is, he's talking about pulling out of Afghanistan by September 11th. This means a lot to me, and I'm going to tell my whole story after we watch this video, because I went there as a comedian several times. So let's listen to what Joe has to say.
I spoke yesterday with President Bush to inform him of my decision. While he and I have had many disagreements over policy throughout the years, we're absolutely united in our respect and support for the valor, courage, and integrity of the women and men of the United States Armed Forces who served. I'm immensely grateful for the bravery and backbone that they have shown through nearly 2 decades of combat deployments. We as a nation are forever indebted to them and to their families. You all know that less than 1% of Americans serve in our armed forces. The remaining 99% of them, we owe them. We owe them. They've never backed down from a single mission that we've asked of them. I've witnessed their bravery firsthand during my visits to Afghanistan. They've never wavered in their resolve. They've paid a tremendous price on our behalf. And they have the thanks of a grateful nation.
President Biden announced on Wednesday his decision to remove all American troops from Afghanistan by the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks this year. War in Afghanistan was never meant to be a multi-generational undertaking. We were attacked. We went to war with clear goals. We achieved those objectives. Biden said the process will begin before May 1st. And then this is from ABC. Biden said no one wants to say that we should be in Afghanistan forever, but they insist now is not the right moment to leave. When will it be the right moment to leave? 1 more year, 2 more years, 10 more years? That's how we got here. Let's listen to that.
No one wants to say that we should be in Afghanistan forever, but they insist now is not the right moment to leave. In 2014, NATO issued a declaration affirming that Afghan security forces would from that point on have full responsibility for this country's security by the end of that year. That was 7 years ago. So when will it be the right moment to leave? 1 more year? 2 more years? 10 more years? 10, 20, $30 billion more than the trillion we've already spent? Not now. That's how we got here.
I mean, I'll be real honest with you. Those words, if they were coming from somebody else, I'd be like, yeah, right on. This is real serious anti-war talk. I'm completely skeptical of Joe Biden saying this because Joe Biden was vice president when they kept saying they're going to pull out 7 years ago. He was talking about when he was vice president with Obama, under Obama. So the language that he's saying, I like hearing that. We absolutely need to get out of Afghanistan. I've been talking about this. We've been there 20 years. We've been there 20 years. I keep saying, imagine if 20 years after Pearl Harbor, we were still fighting the Japanese in 1961. Imagine that. So, and why this is significant to me is as a comedian, I went there in 04, 06, and 07. I went to Afghanistan to entertain the military. I actually have a documentary about it called Afghanistan Comedy Downrange, which is available on Rockfin. And I saw firsthand, you know, I went to entertain the men and women of the U.S. military and coalition forces. I met some Romanian soldiers. I met Aussie soldiers. I met all different kinds of people. And I saw, like, as he said, you know, the men and women who have served, like, hats off to them. They've done a fantastic job considering they're fighting a war really just initially it was like, okay, the Taliban was part of 9/11. Okay, I remember 20 years ago, yeah, all right, makes sense. All right, we got to respond to 9/11. Of course, we didn't look at all of our history in the Middle East that helped create this situation. We just keep acting like we're just getting attacked out of nowhere, like we haven't done anything. So, and I think about the hundreds of thousands of Afghanis that have died, civilians, many of them, who weren't in the Taliban or not terrorists. Just, I mean, let us not forget that under Obama and Biden, 90% of the casualties from bombs dropped by Obama and Biden were unintended targets, which means civilians. So we need to remember that Joe Biden is part of the military-industrial complex. He just asked for a $753 billion military budget, which is an increase over Trump. And Trump got increases every year. Obama got increases every year. George Bush got increases every year. So we look at 9/11, and since then, we have spent trillions of dollars, much of it not necessary. Much of it could have gone for infrastructure. We could have free healthcare, free college, a thriving middle class, upward mobility, the actual American dream again. We could pay for reparations. We could, with American descendants of slavery, we could close all these loopholes with the Native American and indigenous, communities that have been completely subjugated. We could do all these things with all of this trillions of dollars. We could have high-speed rail coast to coast. We could have the green energy being produced in America by Americans, getting good union wages. We could do all this with these trillions of dollars we've spent on this global war on terror. So we said we were going to be out. This is why I'm skeptical of what Joe Biden is saying, because the deal was, a year ago, we signed a deal saying in February of 2020, we signed a deal saying we were going to be out by May 1st of 2021. Well, that's in 2 weeks, and that's not happening. In fact, the peace talks, which I believe are in Istanbul, I'm not sure, but the peace talks between the Taliban and basically the West, the Taliban's like, well, we're not coming to the peace table because America said they're going to pull out May 1st, because they're like, we've heard this before. We've heard this before. It was under Obama. Obama ran on the campaign of pulling us out of Iraq and Afghanistan, and Obama did the surge in Afghanistan. He did the surge. So the military-industrial complex wants never-ending war. The lowest global spending on weapons, on war, the lowest, you want to know what year was the lowest? Take a guess. Did you guess year 2000? Weird, yes. The whole world, the Cold War had ended, the wall had come down, there was no need, there was all these nuclear disarmament deals all over the world. People were, we didn't need all this war. And then we had basically a Pearl Harbor style event in 9/11. And then since 9/11, in the last 20 years, we have spent trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. While America crumbles, while homelessness goes through the roof, while 60,000 people die every year because they don't have health insurance, while 22 vets a day commit suicide. 22 vets a day commit suicide. Much of that stems from PTSD from combat. And when you've got people going on 2, 3, and 4 deployments, and I was over there. I went to Afghanistan in 2004, 06, and 07. And I was in Iraq 07, 08, and 2011. And especially like in the, the latter 06 on, I met a lot of people who were like, this is my 3rd deployment. I'm like, really? Why'd you come back? They're like, I needed the money. I got a $20,000 reenlistment bonus. I just did it for the money, man. I need a $20,000 reenlistment bonus. There's no jobs back where they live because America's been decimated by neoliberal policies that have just gutted the working class. It's a big reason a lot of people voted for Trump in 2016, because Trump ran on an anti-interventionist campaign. Yes, he was racist. Yes, he said xenophobic crap. But he ran anti-interventionist. He said he was going to pull us out of these wars. Of course, he didn't. The war machine wouldn't let him. So America's addicted to war. So I mean, these are great words that Joe Biden is saying, but I'll believe it when I see it, because we're already not going to hit them. We signed a deal a year and a half ago, May 1st, and that's already not happening. We're already not honoring that deal. So we're going to be out by September. Then what's going to happen? Another event, well, not yet. Not yet. Joe Biden's own words, because we'll just play this tape from that clip in September when it's like, oh, we're going to keep the troops in there just till Christmas. We're going to just do this every 3 months. We're going to just by Christmas. So when's that going to end? Because the thing that's never talked about, or rarely talked about, is the stress on the families when someone's deployed. I mean, and if you watch my documentary in Afghanistan, I interviewed all these people. One of the people I interviewed was this woman who was a Marine who had like kids back home. I remember being in Afghanistan in 07, and Bush had just extended deployments from 12 to 14 months. And somebody was like 14. He goes, now I'm missing 2 birthdays. You know, it's like 14 months. It is so stressful on the families. And then the person comes back from deployment and they've been in a war zone for the last year. And it's hard. Domestic violence goes up, drug use goes up. And if they've got PTSD combined sometimes with TBI, traumatic brain injury, it all compounds it. So all of that is why we need to be done with war. And if we cut our military budget in half, we would still be outspending China by $200 billion a year. We need to start spending money on our own citizens. We need to like end these tent cities that have only gotten bigger during the pandemic and end all these ridiculous wars and start being the country that advocates for peace rather than we have 800 military bases around the world. We're bombing what, 6, 7 countries right now. We're sanctioning countries all for natural resources and oil and pipelines and the petrodollar and all this other nonsense. I mean, that needs to stop. So let's hope that it does. Thank you for supporting our show, everybody. Like, share, subscribe. We've been demonetized by YouTube. So get bonus content at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockman.com/Graham Elwood. And we'll be back in the fancy studio soon as I get my internet set back up. Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Oh. All right. What? Yeah. What's going on? What happened to my Rockfin page? What? Sorry, I lost something. Let me read all the. Thank you for supporting the show on Rock and Shaker Knuckles for Justice. I'm going to read these and then I'm going to just pause for a second, go take a break, and then I'll be back and I'll simulcast the Savage Joy interview. So we'll be back. Just let me read these tips, which is a great way to support the show. Go to rockman.com/Graham Elwood and you can tip like Melissa H is doing. You think maybe Biden wants to take the troops out of Afghanistan so we can have them in Yemen and or Syria? I think Syria is probably the most probable, or Iran. Yeah, they definitely want a ground war with Iran. So that might be part of it. We're done with Afghanistan. That war's over. But man, Iran, oh, they're out of control. I might get ready for some crazy false flag stuff like that. Get ready for that. For the newsletter in the chat, grahamelwood.com/newsletter, you get a smoothie recipe. We send you like one a month. Well, not a smoothie recipe, but we send you a newsletter every month. So it's cool. Tony DeMayo, boom. I love how you talk about Hollywood propaganda and its dangerous consequences. Imagine if they made a movie every year about the emotional toll that serving in a war has on someone. It would change our culture. And Tony, I'm so glad you brought that up, because one of my goals with this channel, and if all this cryptocurrency goes through the roof, is to make my own like studio, like a movie studio, and make movies like scripted movies and TV shows that talk about this stuff, that show what war really is, that doesn't glamorize it, that shows how evil the CIA is, that shows the benefits of socialism. I'm going to make content like that, that makes fun of the neoliberals and all that stuff. So I appreciate you noticing that. because I think I can change the culture that way. Sharif Snugs, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Shave your knuckles for justice. I hope all's well. Hey, Kale Farmer, when am I going to come on your farm? How are you, Graham? I really miss you in the show. I miss the gang, dude. It's great to see you. Yeah, I'm glad it went. Good to see you in the chat. I hope everything's going well. I know you're out there fighting the fight, which is awesome. And I know it's tough because it's like you got a job and family and all this other stuff. So it's a lot to do, but I really appreciate you coming back and joining us. Yeah, you know me, man. Just selling out to Big Kale. Kale Street's, I'm bought and paid for by Kale Street. You know that. You know that, man. You know that. So, all right, everybody. I'm going to take a quick break for a couple minutes and for like 5 minutes, and then I'll be back as a guest on the Savage Joy Show, and I will simulcast it. Simulcast. Be right back.
when you were on tour with Ron. That was so much fun to meet you. I got my manwich. I got to sit in between you and Ron, which was one of my dreams. And then we did a live show in person with an audience, which is something I've never done. But it turned out to be really cool. And then when I was on stage introducing Ron, I fell off the stage, which was awesome. But all in all, it was a great night. So I cannot wait to see you guys back on tour. Like, I'm fiending. And I know you guys cannot wait to get back out on stage. What is it like for you, the past year, thankful for Zoom and such, but what is it like for you not being able to actually get on a stage and do what you love?
It's really hard. I mean, it's everybody has suffered in some way or another because of the pandemic. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, it's so much harder for me or whatever. We've all had to give up something, but just as a performer, giving up live shows is really hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Zoom shows have been great, and thank God for the audience. We did a lot of those early on last year. The first couple months, we were doing them like almost every Saturday. We haven't done one in a while, and live streaming has been great. I went from live streaming 1 or 2 days a week to probably 4 or 5 days a week when the pandemic shut down. So it's grown my channel, and I appreciate that. And my audience has been super loyal and everything, but not performing. I've been a stand-up comic since I was 18. So not being.
And when I was looking for a photo of you, it said your age because your bio came up, and I don't believe it. I thought you were my age. I'm 41. That's what I thought. You were like 42, 43. Yeah.
Well, I'll take that.
So we'll just go with that.
That sounds good with me. I'm not going to argue with you.
Maybe it's all that wonderful sun you get in California. I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't get, any of those healthy vitamin C nutrients. But you have been successful at comedy, and you are so great with Ron. So you guys are planning on going back out, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, Ron and I have talked a lot about it, especially recently, as it looks like things are hopefully sort of opening up and, more people getting vaccinated, and we're going to feel safer about it, and the audience will feel safer about it. We're feeling, like probably September, our goal. So tentatively right now, there's no tour dates yet, but like tentatively our plan is sort of just do the West Coast in September, do shows in LA, do shows in Northern California, do like Arizona, Vegas probably, and then go up to like Seattle and Portland and maybe even Vancouver, Canada is our plan. And then hopefully October, have like a real 3 or 4 week tour where we probably like start in the Midwest, like, and then move our way to the East Coast and go down south and do all that. So
would love to just sit in the back seat and document. I bet your conversations are just incredible. Especially Ron probably talks about music non-stop because I know he does it with me. And you're probably like,
yeah, I mean, that's the joke, and I did a joke about it in my act, was like, he'll mention some band and I'll be like, I don't know who that is. And he'll be like, what? How do you not know that? And then I'll mention some movie. I'll be like, like that scene in, The Deer Hunter. He'll be like, wait, what's that? I'm like, what? You don't know? What are you doing? Ron? So it's a lot of that. I mean, we really talk music, movies, comedy, politics, obviously. And then we'll talk a little bit of sports because he really likes hockey. And I kind of follow hockey, and I like baseball. We talk soccer a little bit, but yeah, that's our, we have, I mean, I miss that. I miss just, like, now obviously the live shows are amazing, but I miss just like hanging out with Ron or just being in the green room of like doing the live Jimmy Dore shows are amazing. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I know Ron told me he and his wife got the vaccinations. Were you able to get one yet?
Yep. I've been fully vaccinated with the Moderna vaccine, so you know, I'm hoping. You know, I know it's not like. I'm just glad that I know it doesn't like prevent you from getting it, but just now I can't die or go to the hospital. So
yeah.
Like,
I got my Moderna too. I call it my funky cold Moderna, which nobody would understand unless you're like my age or older. So one of the things, you know, one of the reasons I reached out to you, not just because it's been a while, but also because YouTube has been fucking with you and other people as well. I know we were taken down last week and they didn't even tell us why. So who the fuck knows?
right.
It's usually for saying like ETSTEIN or something like that. With you, it was your show with you and Lee. And you guys got taken down and demonetized. So do you want to kind of share to the audience who doesn't know?
Yeah, we've been demonetized since February 1st. I mean, who knows why exactly? I mean, I've done a lot of videos on Epstein. I've done, you know, I've done a lot of anti-war videos, which those were always getting limited ads or full-on demonetized. Those videos, that's been happening for probably 3 years. And Lee and I, you know, we do our show Government Secrets, and we had done a 3-part series on the JFK assassination based on this book that Lee had read called JFK and the Unspeakable, which is this book that's it's sourced. It's a lot of documentation. It's not like just wild theories. It's like showing, you know, Lee Harvey Oswald. There's hard evidence Lee Harvey Oswald was a CIA operative. There's forensic evidence showing that the bullet wound came from the front, which would make the shot from the book depository that would make it impossible. And it supports the theory of a second shooter from the grassy knoll or whatever, just from a forensic standpoint. It's got people's sworn testimony. It's got who then would like change their testimony. A lot of people who, you know, gave testimony or depositions then had mysterious deaths. So we were talking about that, and that's what our show Government Secrets is. We go into government secrets, and so we do Government Secrets, and then Lee, you know, puts the whole episode. He'll put it on his YouTube. I'll put it on my YouTube, and on Lee's YouTube channel, there was this like banner at the bottom saying, you know, according to Wikipedia, Lee Harvey Oswald is considered the assassin for JFK. And they just put this banner up there like, oh, that's a statement of fact. And we're just like, really? The most like controversial assassination with, again, all the books, all the documentaries made, all the movies, all this Freedom of Information Act documents. So all that's wrong, but YouTube and Wikipedia are saying, done deal, Lee Harvey Oswald did it. Like, just, so that was like, wow. And then that happened, and then a week later, I got demonetized. So I don't know if it's directly as a result of that. And they said March 3rd, you can appeal, which I did, and I just got a notice saying, we're going to review your account within the next 30 to 60 days. So I haven't heard anything since then. We're now in the middle of April. It's been 2.5 months of no money at all. I can't make any ad revenue. There's no super chats when I go live. There's no, and they're starting to run ads on my channel, but they're not, I don't get a penny of it. So, and super chat revenue, which, as you know, when you're live streaming, and that's how fans can support the show, they can donate and you answer those questions. Was probably 70 to 75% of my YouTube revenue. And my YouTube revenue, of all of the revenue streams for my show, Political Vigilante, was 60%. YouTube was 60% of my revenue. And that got wiped out overnight. And that's been shut down for 2.5 months now, which has been really frustrating. Thankfully, actually 2 years ago now, I started, you know, Rockfin approached me and Ron and a couple other people.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And so I started posting my videos just as a backup plan 2 years ago. And then last summer when the shutdown happened and I was like, I really started paying attention to cryptocurrency and how to cash out the Ray token that they pay us content creators on Rockfin, for those in the audience who aren't aware of it. And so, thankfully I've been able to kind of mitigate the losses and keep the show running. But it's been, yeah, man, it's like they just took, and people are like, you got to try to get it back. Excuse me. Which I would love to, and I'll file the appeal again and do whatever I got to do. But even if I get it back, I'm not holding out any hope, because they could just pull the plug again. They could deplatform me. I mean, look, after what happened at the Capitol in January 6th, they went after a bunch of right-wing shows. And then about 3 weeks later, they went after all the left-wing shows. So it's just censorship across the board. And, Google owns YouTube. And Eric Schmidt, as we know, has been working with the CIA since probably 2011. So it's data collection and controlling the narrative, and the corporate media basically just works for the State Department in essence, and their corporate benefactors, and then, YouTube was sort of the last bastion of free speech, and now they're really trying to mitigate, they're trying to shut that down. So it's why I tell people, go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and support what we're doing. And also, cryptocurrency is the future. I mean, I always tell people, just buy Bitcoin, learn about it, do your own research. Don't invest money you can't afford to lose, but learn about Bitcoin and put some money into it, because it's the one thing that can take away their power. The central banks are part of the ruling elites. How they hold leverage over everybody. They keep us in debt. They keep us in all these crappy jobs, and they don't want us to fight, and they're hoping, that if they take away their YouTube money, that I'll start playing ball. I'll just do funny cat videos or whatever, or just, only call out the Republicans or whatever they want me to do, and not call out the war machine or anything like that. So I'm not going to do that. Thank God Rockfin's available. I'm also on Odyssey, but thank God Rockfin's available, that I'm making money to where I don't, and Rockfin doesn't censor us. So that's where we're at, and so anyway, anyone watching can support the show at grahamelwood.com. I have a PayPal, Venmo, I have a merchandise in my store, and Patreon, of course, and Rockfin. Any of those things, I really appreciate it, because I'm not gonna, that's the other thing, because when this stuff starts happening, Joy, you notice content creators, and I'm sure you've had to wrestle with this yourself, you start self-censoring. Well, maybe we don't talk about that, or...
Well, I just spelled, ETHSTEIN, because I know that's one of the things that they kick us off for. Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll just go, maybe I won't talk about that story this time. Maybe maybe we'll just talk about this, or I'll just, just keep talking about the, sort of horse race of electoral politics or whatever, rather than what's really controlling things. And that's more palatable. This like red state versus blue state narrative, that's fine, because that keeps everybody distracted, divided, distracted, and afraid.
And there's not a million other shows talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, shows don't do well because they have like, individual content. So what you should do is just like talk about the same thing as so many other shows, and that'll go over well.
Yep.
Well, I kind of, on that note, I came across this the other day, and it gave me chills. I don't know if you saw this, but I've been in the street so many times protesting, and then, all of a sudden, my cell phone doesn't work. It's happened so many times in Philly, in New York, in Harrisburg, and I'll be like, is anybody else's phone working? No. And it's just like somehow they're able to turn off everyone's like Wi-Fi and stuff. It has happened so many times. So if you're streaming live, tough shit. You got to record. Well, I saw this online and it just gave me chills. Have you seen this?
No. What?
Can you read it for the viewers?
Yeah, this is so the viewers. This is an emergency alert. An unlawful assembly has been declared. Disperse or be arrested. This somebody got this on their phone and then tweeted out. This is something I haven't received before during a protest. Wow, that is 1,000% scary.
He was at the protest. That's why it freaked me out. Like, it wasn't like someone at home or something. Like, he was literally there. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking creepy because now they kind of know who to send it to. I don't know if they like electronically can see who's in the vicinity or what, but I don't know. That shit made my hair stand up.
Well, that's terrifying because what that shows is that they're pinging everybody's cell phones that are at the protest and then sending this alert. Like, that's like they're tracking you. So it's like, you want to go to the protest and roll video footage. It's like, you should leave your cell phone at home and bring an old school video camera, you know?
Absolutely. It's that, oh my God. I just got goosebumps again. That's so fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I have. So I have a couple, let's see. This is, I wrote this today. Can you read that, Graham?
Yes, this is from you posted this on Twitter. To those praising Biden, you don't expand the war budget and then a few days later announce the end of a war in the near future. That's why we need a free education.
So, you know, you go on Twitter and you see all the shit libs like, oh my God, Biden's putting an end to a war 18 years later that, you know, he participated in for 8 years. But, you know, and it's just like he literally just asked for more money for the war budget last week. So, you know, what was your take when you saw him announcing that, guess what, for 9/11, it's all good, everyone comes home?
Well, several things popped into my mind. First of all, you know, February of last year, 2020, an agreement was made that we were going to pull out in May 1st of 2021. So that's we're already blowing that. So we're already not honoring that agreement. And which is significant because in the peace talks that are happening right now between the Taliban and the West and the Afghan government, which is backed by the West, the Taliban has just recently said that they're not coming to the peace talks because America isn't honoring the May 1st pullout. So already this like September 11, you know, we're going to pull out is already not because, and the Taliban or whomever is like, well, we've heard this before. I've heard this before. You know, we're going to just keep pushing it down the road, down the road, down the road. And yeah, Biden gives that speech going, if not now, when? You know, we heard this in 2014. And if you just listen to those words, you go, oh yeah, right on. But it's Joe Biden. You know, he was part of the surge, you know, when Obama surged the troops in Afghanistan. He was part of that when the UN said in 2014, we're going to be out by the end of the year. That was 7 years ago. I mean, and then as you just said, the White House just submitted a $753 billion military budget, which is an increase. And, you know, Biden's Secretary of Defense was on Raytheon's board of directors. Like, they just approved a weapons deal to the UAE. You know, like, I mean, if they do actually pull out by September 11th, they'll probably just shift them over to Syria or, you know, this inevitable ground war that they are so, you know, bloodthirsty for with Iran. So I don't trust these words at all.
And do you think it's wise to announce, like, guess what, everyone's going to be gone September 11th, so you can do whatever you want? Like, do you think that's like the smartest thing to tell people? Like, I don't know.
I mean, at this point, we've been there 20 years, so we just need to get people out. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, Will the Taliban try to take advantage of that data or whatever? I don't know, probably, but we've been there 20 years. I mean, we have there's hundreds of thousands of Afghan civilians we've killed. There's several thousand Americans that have died over there, service members, not even, I don't even know what the number of contractors is, not to mention the 22 vets a day that commit suicide, many of whom served in Afghanistan. So it's like done. We've spent trillions of dollars just in Afghanistan. That could all give us Medicare for all, that could pay for student debt, that could, build an infrastructure that's amazing, that could eradicate homelessness in America. We could be living in this just, beautiful utopia, but instead we're in this crumbling empire, because what all empires do is they just go to war and war and war. Every empire's collapsed the same way, and we're doing the same things. So we just got to get out of there. Like we should have been out of there 10 years ago. I mean, it's just like,
oh God, yeah,
it's nuts.
Absolutely. So, let's see, my other one reminiscent of that is my BFF, Marianne Williamson, who literally has become my BFF. Like, no lie, she has been we chat every day. She came on my show 2 weeks ago, and she PMs me every day to check on me, and has been pimping my GoFundMe. And she is just the most wonderful, kind, beautiful person I've ever met. Can you read this tweet?
Yes. So that's from Marianne Williamson, who was a Democratic candidate. She said the United States has military bases in 70 countries on every continent except Antarctica. Our gargantuan global military presence does not make the world safer. If anything, it makes it more dangerous, which I agree with 100%.
And it's so crazy, because it's like this kind of post is so like, yeah, no shit, it makes it more dangerous. But like, you have to say that. People don't fucking get it. Like, it's such a simple idea. But people are like, no, let's bomb people into peace. It makes total sense.
America is addicted to war, Joy. America, and because we have been at war for 20 years, Americans don't feel it. You don't walk around America and go, wow, we're a country at war. You don't see it. We just know that there's these countries we're just sort of bombing and we're not aware of. The corporate media, because it gets its marching orders from the State Department and gets it, Boeing and Raytheon and those companies buy ad time on the corporate media. They're not going to sit there and spell this out and go, this is ridiculous. Why are we still in Afghanistan? See, so they learned a lot from Vietnam. So the Vietnam War was on the news. And back then, when there was 3 channels, you'd come home and you'd watch the evening news at dinner, and you'd see American GIs dying in Vietnam. You'd see civilians getting killed and kids getting killed, and you saw the horrors of war on TV. It wasn't the World War I and the Korean War, or World War I and II and the Korean War, you'd get the movie tone news. So you'd get this polished, scrubbed, propagandized view of what was happening in World War II. Our boys overseas giving it to the Nazis or whatever. And then it was Vietnam, where TV cameras were just showing the brutality of war, and a war that wasn't popular to begin with. And people were like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to war. Why? I'm not defending my country to go fight in some crazy war. And so the media, and then the Pentagon Papers came out, which again was back when there was actual journalism happening, revealed that this was all just about money. This wasn't about protecting freedom. Or thwarting the thread of communism. It wasn't any of those things, and it was the war machine's corruption that had been going back through since Eisenhower. I mean, even JFK was aware of it, and he was trying to get out of the war, and he got killed for that. Anyway, that's a separate story. But so what they learned in the 70s, and the 60s and 70s was control the narrative, and you had in the 70s as well, you had all the, Hollywood hadn't been corporatized yet. So you had people making movies like Deer Hunter, Apocalypse Now, which were heavy anti-war movies. Now they had very skewed and racist depictions of the Vietnamese, but in terms of their anti-war message, it was really powerful anti-war messages in those movies. And it got Americans going, what are we doing? Why are we here? So we haven't seen honest depictions in the media or even in Hollywood since the 70s. I mean, where are all the movies showing the war in Yemen? Where's all the documentaries showing the war in Yemen? Where's all the real documentaries showing how it's bullshit we're in Syria? No. The narrative, even the documentaries and the Oscars have been bought by the war machine. They make these white helmet documentaries. The white helmets are the heroes. They're not talking about the petrodollar. They're not talking about America's lying about chemical weapons. They're not talking about it's all about a pipeline. We're not hearing any of that. So you have to come to YouTube. You have to come to Abby Martin and Jimmy Dore and people like that to really report on this. And so they learned their lesson in the 70s, and that's why it's so heavily controlled now that most Americans aren't made aware. You had to talk about Black Lives Matter because last summer you couldn't turn anywhere without hearing about it, seeing about it, looking. It was everywhere. America had to deal with it. And they've made a point of brushing aside, sanitizing, glorifying through media what the American war machine's doing, so people don't even know what we're doing and how awful it is and who's profiting from it, how it's eroding America.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. I think these next ones are about everybody's favorite, AOC. Okay.
Hey,
So
I just sent you Joy a StreamYard link. So maybe if you click on that, then I can be live streamed, then I can have you on my thing as well at the same time.
Oh,
is that possible? I sent it to you in Twitter.
Let me see.
I should have thought of this sooner. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's see. All right, let's see if this will work. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, while Joy's looking for that, everybody, I'll just tell you, support both of our shows. Go like and share and subscribe to our channels if you haven't already, and share these videos out on your social media. And
and tell us how you think about AOC while I'm doing this.
Oh, AOC, such a massive disappointment. You know, it's really, you see in real time how it is impossible to reform the Democratic Party from within. Like, just impossible. And it's something that, you know, when she won, we all felt like this was a big victory for us, and the progressives are going to take over, and, you know, in the squad, and this is why it's going to be different this time. And when she first got in, it was like live tweeting at the freshman orientation for Congress about, like, why aren't there any labor speaking? Only lobbyists are speaking. I was like, wow, this is awesome that she's doing this. And she called out Nancy Pelosi when the Democrats took over Congress. She's like, why are we voting for Trump's border wall? She literally said on Twitter, what's the point of having a majority of Congress if we're going to go along with something we don't want? And then now you just see her, you know, acquiesce, and she's almost assuredly been promised something by the Democratic Party. I'm sure they promised her VP in 28, or, you know, president in 28 or 32 or something like that.
Possibly next speaker.
Yeah.
Some people are kind of hinting that. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe she might take on Cuomo. I'm not sure.
I think
there's a reason.
She's definitely being groomed to be, like, in the White House. I mean, they're definitely grooming her for that. So, like, there's no.
People want that.
Yeah.
Like, so many people who I thought were leftists and I thought were comrades have been completely hateful AOC stands. She can do nothing wrong. It's been heartbreaking seeing the amount of worship. It's like, what happened to we need to hold people accountable? What happened to that? There are so many things to call her out on. This one I shared from you, and I put, I thought we were supposed to knock down the house because that was our freaking documentary, knock down the house. So do you want to read this person's tweet?
Yep, Sharif Snuggs at I am for Medicare for All, M4A, and his son, constituents, knocking on the door of Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's empty office in Queens, New York, demanding she pass Medicare for All immediately. Medicare for All, knock, knock, it's Medicare for All, hashtag M for all. Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful, because Sharif Snuggs watches my show a lot. I'm sure he watches your shows and others, and he's been like he's out in the street doing it, and he really wants to hold her accountable, and he's a black man. I mean, he's like, that's the other, they're trying to play the narrative of, they're trying to do the white burn bro male, guys are being mean or whatever. And it's like, no, it's a bunch of people of all different ethnicities and women and who were on board with AOC, and they're now seeing she's a fraud, and they're pissed off and they can't handle it, and so, and it is perplexing too, people that I thought were leftists who think that AOC is like their friend or something, and they just can't say bad words about her. And it's like, no, hold her accountable. Hold her accountable like you would hold anyone accountable. I mean, I've had Justin Jackson on my show a couple times, and we laughed about how, like,
Me too.
Yeah, he's a professional
He
athlete.
is so great. He is so, he'll be like, I respect you and all, but when he talks to the squad, it's so cute and so sweet. And he is one of the nicest people in the universe. But he nails it while being kind. It's an art. It's amazing.
It is an art. And you and I were talking about how he plays in the NFL. He's a professional athlete. And I'm like, so tell me what happens if you screw up in the NFL. He's like, you're fired. You're packed. The coach you lose your job. The coach gets fired. You're done. He told me a story of his rookie year. A guy had a bad practice, and they were watching film of the practice, and the guy was fired, done. Pack your shit, buddy. You're gone. You're not delivering. Wow. And yet politicians are allowed to just be as mediocre as possible. And then if you hold them accountable, they go, oh, you're being mean. It's violence. It's mean. No, I'm saying, F you or whatever is not violence. It's saying you're a disappointment, and I'm holding you accountable.
And I mean, we're supposed to push Biden left. We can't even push AOC left. This is not, the way people are reacting if I have AOC stands in the comments, this is really going to trigger the fuck out of them. Where to go? Let me see. Oh, yeah.
I don't get
this, and it was a freaking job.
I don't get the allegiance. They take it when you're critical of her, they take it personally. I'm going to tell my kids this was Elizabeth Warren. Oh, I retweeted that. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's a photo of AOC, and somebody put, I'm going to tell my kids this is Elizabeth Warren. I'm telling you, it's why
is it, I told someone, I said, why is it okay for AOC to literally give an interview where she says Pelosi is a fucking activist? An activist.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone else said that, you would lose your shit. And you're saying she's this huge, activist person, yet she says Mama Bear. I interviewed AOC on my show. I was a speaker at an event with her as well. I know how she used to be firsthand. I've met her. I've seen it. And now I've seen the way she has totally capitulated to everything she said she was getting elected to fight against.
Yep. That's what's so disheartening is we all bought it. We're like, she's young, she's from the Bronx, and I don't know, maybe she was more groomed than we thought. I don't know. It's really it's so disappointing on so many levels. I mean, when we it was 2 years ago. It was summer of 2019 when we met in person, when we came to Philly, and the Democratic primary was just starting, and there was a lot of hope in the air. Like, oh, Bernie's running again, man. Oh, wait a minute now. Like, this could be like AOC and the squad. They're going to back him up. Like, this is going to be. I went to a couple of his rallies, and then it's just like, my good friend Joe Biden, and he just never came out swinging hard in the primary and the debates, and then just quit. I don't know what happened, if they threatened him or Jane or his kids, or I don't know what happened. And then now it's just this last year. I mean, it was a year ago that he dropped out, and it's just been like unreal. It's like there was a little ounce of hope we all had a year ago or 2 years ago, and now it's like even 14, 15 months ago, just the beginning of 2020, we were like, okay, man, he's going to win Iowa. He's going to win New Hampshire. Here we go. Like, and
Las Vegas. Oh my God. The night of Nevada. That was the best night of so many of our lives.
Yeah.
It was like, especially after what happened in 2016. Oh my God. That was euphoric.
Yeah.
It was, especially for me, I had moved from Pennsylvania to Iowa for 5 weeks to volunteer for Bernie. So I came home and then saw that happen in Nevada, and I was like, oh my God, we can do it this time. Like, it could really happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now fast forward a year later, and I'm like, wow, everything fucking sucks.
It's hard. It's a hard thing to, in addition to the pandemic, which is challenging to all of us on so many ways, to go, oh, and then to see people, doing backflips for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You're just like, okay, Trump's gone. Great. Now what? And now it's like, and they just keep drinking the Kool-Aid. I just don't. I kind of have lost any hope of like America on the whole is going to wake up. They're not. America wants to stay asleep. It is. They don't want to know. They just want to stay in apathy. Some people are waking up. Some little victories on the local level are happening, and that's good to see. You're seeing the needle move a little bit, but it's like, this is, again, we just talked about Biden's war budget. I mean, the U.S. military is the #1 polluter on the planet, and if we don't fix climate change, we're done. And Biden and the Democrats are just going to do more incremental centrism. Well, we're back in the Paris Accord. We're going to cut back emissions or something, and it's like, that's never going to be enough. It's not, and we need drastic measures, and there aren't any. The latest stimulus plan, they're boasting, oh, we're pulling people out of poverty. No, you're not. There's no $15 an hour. There's no Medicare for all. There's no student debt forgiveness. There's a one-time tax credit if you have kids. So if you don't have kids, you don't even get that tax credit. If you do have kids, you get it one time. None of those aren't long-term solutions that are going to change people's lives. Medicare for all would change people's lives. It would change yours and millions of other people's lives, but it's not going to. So it's just like, and then again, it just seems like more Democratic Party lip service. Oh, we're going to pull out of Afghanistan. Not by May 1st, not the agreed upon time in September. Okay, we'll see about that. Like we got to fight climate change. And, who are they putting in charge of it? Whatever. And his cabinet's the most diverse cabinet in history. It's not of ideology. It's the most diverse cabinet of Wall Street, big pharma, warmongering, defense contractor, subsidized. That's all it is. And so it's just like Americans, especially the neoliberal left, they're suckers. They're suckers.
Absolutely. And I mean, she's doing that bidding for them by saying Trump's behavior with immigrants is not the same thing.
Well,
you called it concentration camps, and now you're saying it's not the same thing. Go fucking ask them. Ask if things are better now. Ask if they feel better that they're in a 40-person capacity thing with 450 people, and if they feel good inside just because the person putting them there has a fucking D next to their name.
Well, of course. I mean, this is the problem, and this is why you just can't trust her in the squad or Ro Khanna or anybody else anymore, really, for that matter, because you know, they're concentration camps. She said that, okay, that's strong language. She didn't acknowledge they were built by Obama back when Trump was in office. And now that Biden's there, she's like, oh, they're not the same. I saw babies ripped out of people's arms and that didn't happen. And I did a video where I basically went through documents of people filing complaints with the Department of Homeland Security saying there was abuses happening and child abuse and all this stuff under Obama. Like there's documents. It's just so she either just doesn't know, she's willfully ignorant on this, or she just knows she's a bold-faced liar and she knows that a large 12 million Twitter followers will just buy it. They'll just drink whatever Kool-Aid she sells them. So it's really, there's no, I mean, you know, force the vote, really expose the left to who the real people, the real lefties are and who are the imposters. And there's no left. We have no representation in government at all, none, not on the federal level. You know.
Absolutely. And, you know, also the thing with AOC is, you know, when she's defending Biden like that, she has to realize that there is a reason that Biden had literal, like restraining orders from any press being allowed to go into those rooms. They weren't even physically allowed.
Mm-hmm.
People called Trump a fascist for that. But for over 2 months of Biden being president, not a single person of the press was allowed to go anywhere near it. There was actual legislation. So why would he do that unless he was scared that it was not something he wanted people to see?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he hid the press. Where was the outcry? Where was the social media just uproar because Biden was wasn't allowing the press into the facility? No, they're too busy because I think they're all back at brunch now. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that people are going to wake up and they're just going to yay for identity politics and not ask questions like, where does this person get their funding from? You know, like Janet Yellen, you know, first female Fed, you know, the Fed's are already corrupt. So she's in charge of an already corrupt banking cartel. And, you know, she made $1.7 million in various speaking fees from all these big Wall Street banks. So she's not going to give a fair, she's going to side with with Robinhood, not with Wall Street bets when, you know, because of what that happened, which was just poetic justice that a bunch of people in Wall Street bets, shorted game, prevented this hedge fund from shorting a stock and making people lose their jobs. And it's just like Wall Street's so corrupt and they own the political parties, and this, Americans are suckers. They're just going to keep voting for the lesser of two evils. And guess what? The Democrats are going to lose control in the midterms, and the Republicans are going to run a ideologue. See, Trump was an idiot. Trump was just dumb. He was a narcissistic jackass. He could have staged a coup. He was in position to do so and could have. We could be in the middle of a civil war and Trump saying, I'm not right now today. But he's just too much of an idiot to do that. So they're going to come up with somebody who's going to be an
Tom Cotton.
Yeah, or somebody, or some type of charismatic Mike Pence, who's an ideologue. And what are the Democrats? They're going to put up what? Kamala or whatever and say, and it's just like those people at the Capitol, they didn't go away. Some of them were arrested, but they haven't gone away. They haven't given up their guns or said, hey, we're sorry. Like, Americans want to lull themselves back into sleep that where everything's okay and things are getting back to normal. Well, guess what back to normal in America is a shooting every week and an unarmed black man getting killed by the cops every week. That's what back to normal has been this last month. So, and we haven't even had the financial crisis yet. So I don't know when Americans are going to wake up. I don't think they ever will. Until like if their whole building was burning down and you said, oh my God, the system is broken, they'd say, stop criticizing the Democrats or whatever. Like if you did that to a neoliberal. And the red state voters have been propagandized and lied to as well, to think that you know, they were told Joe Biden's a socialist, which is just hilarious to me. He's a Republican.
He wants to defund the police.
Yeah.
Please.
I know. I wish it. They're like, Joe Biden's a Marxist. God, I wish he was a Marxist.
Yeah, seriously.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I would have actually voted for his ass if
Yeah.
he was. Maybe. If anyone is offended at our discussion about AOC, this is for you.
Which says idolizing a politician is like believing the stripper really likes you.
I couldn't have said it better. That was genius. I can't take credit for it. I found it, but it's so on point.
It's great.
Let me see what else I have here. Oh, okay, we did that. So this one, I think this is it. Oh, okay, I'll do that last. This one literally had me almost pee my pants.
This is from The Hill. Pelosi says she could have taken on the Capitol mob. I'm a street fighter.
Did you see that?
No, is this a joke? She didn't really.
No! She said that!
Oh my God.
I'm a street fighter. Oh my God. I almost peed my pants. Like literally almost peed my pants. I had to make sure it was real, and it is, and I almost died. Okay, I know it's gonna sound ageist and maybe even ableist, but you could not even give up. You could not even get up off the floor after you were kneeling for George Floyd. So stop. Like seriously, fucking stop. And why were people saying they were scared when it was happening if she was like, yeah, oh, come on, it's okay.
Does Nancy Pelosi know that she's like in her 70s? I mean, does she think
she's 80?
She's 80.
81, I believe.
And she thinks she's a street fighter.
In heels, yeah, and bedazzled mask. Oh my God, I lost it. She's a Wall Street fighter, a fighter against Main Street, maybe. Sure. Yeah, this is why I have to write another book. Right there, that. Like that just, oh my God, I had to double check that was real. So I had to bring this. I don't know how you feel about Yang, but to me he is my top 10 biggest fucking tool on Twitter. And do you want to read this, Jim, from I think a day or two ago?
This is from Andrew Yang. You know what I hear over and over, that New York City is not enforcing rules against unlicensed street vendors. I'm for increasing licenses, but we should do more for the retailers who are paying rent and trying to survive. Wow, go fuck yourself. God.
Like, you want to give more to like McDonald's and, Walmart and stuff, and then street vendor, like a dude selling hot dogs for $1 a piece. You want him to go through getting a fucking license and paying for it? That's
like so typical. I mean, this just shows Yang as he's a tech entrepreneur. He's just a big business Wall Street guy, one of these, tech entrepreneurs who the idea of actually holding Wall Street accountable, so I guarantee you one hedge fund in Manhattan has stolen more money than every hot dog stand and newspaper stand in the history of Manhattan. They've stolen more in a month than every hot dog vendor who unlicensed anyone since New York was founded in the 1700s. Like, this is so preposterous. I'm so done with this demonizing of working people. Somebody said to me, they're like, man, a lot of people, they scam, they're getting unemployment when they shouldn't have. And I said, I tell you what, once we get every Wall Street criminal to pay back all the trillions of dollars they've stolen from the American people, and we put them in jail, once we get all that done, then we'll look at someone who gamed the system a little and go, hey, you can't get free money from the government anymore. After we do all that, then maybe I'll even entertain that idea. But until that happens, I'm so sick of this. It's just like cops. They hassle petty criminals when some Wall Street person has ruined millions of people's lives. They've destroyed the environment. Look, I did a story on this couple that owns a bunch of pistachios that has been lobbying for a war with Iran because Iran has a big percentage of the pistachio market. So they want to bomb people and they want to ruin people's lives and kill innocent children and civilians just so they can get more profit from their fucking nuts. Like, those people are sociopaths. There's some rich couple in California, like, they're awful people, but somehow a hot dog vendor in New York that's selling hot dogs without a license that's what we should go after? Fucking Andrew Yang needs to go to prison.
He's so full. Nobody told you that, Andrew. Shut the fuck up. Nobody said that to you. Not one person. Every time he has a shit take, which is like 5 times a day, he says, I hear all the time. So he can kind of like try to cover it up. Oh my God. I'm telling you, if you could do a show on his garbage tweets. The other day it was National Pet Day. He posted a selfie of him with a dog and said, Happy National Pet Day. This is dog, whatever his name is. We had to give him up. What? Like, you literally just showed a picture of you with a dog on National Pet Day and said you had to give him up. What the fuck? And he's like putting whipped cream in a guy's mouth who's on his knees. Like, he's not serious at all.
The note I heard, you know what I heard, which means one of two things. Either one, he's just, one person said it, or he's just making it up and trying to make it seem like everyone's saying this. It's sort of the passive aggressive centrist way of how Trump would go. Everybody knows this. Everyone says I'm the best. Like, who's everyone, Trump? But if this is accurate, he's like, you know who I hear over and over? Where'd you hear this from? At your private club? At the at the Teterboro Airport where private jets fly in and out of? Where'd you hear this? You know,
exactly.
That's where you heard it over and over. Just some Wall Street jackass going, this guy selling hot dogs is in my way of my getting dropped off from my limo. Like, shut up.
He posts some real privileged shit, but this one just, oh my God, how egregious. This was such a ridiculous ratio, and he never took it down. He tried to quantify it. You know, He's like, well, what I meant was, stop. Yeah. You're making it worse. Some people think he's going to win. My God, that would be bad. What do you think? Are you paying attention to that race at all?
No, because it'll just be some, either this libertarian Wall Street Andrew Yang or some neoliberal centrist.
Probably.
Yeah. Who's he running against? Bloomberg or some awful idiot like that? Like, it's just two morons running against each other in a race of stupidity or something?
Yeah, oh my God, what a freaking clusterfuck. So let's see. Okay, so this would be the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining me again. I always love when you come.
My pleasure.
To visit, can you give your show website, your Twitter, all that fun stuff?
Sure. Yeah. My show is The Political Vigilante. It's on YouTube. If you go to grahamelwood.com, that'll get you everything. My YouTube show, I also have everything on Rockfin. I'm doing more videos on Rockfin now since I've been demonetized. Rockfin, so rockfin.com, it's /Graham Elwood. It's free to sign up, but they also have a lot of premium content. Everything at grahamelwood.com. My store, newsletter, and that's also, my Twitter, my Patreon, that's all at grahamelwood.com. And of course, when we start announcing tour dates, hopefully in the next couple months, those will all be at grahamelwood.com as well.
And I will be coming out to California. So Pat and I are doing a book tour. So hopefully in the next few months. And Ron got me to agree to do my first pot experience with him. Yes. I've never tried any kind of pot or edible So I told him he's gonna have to sign a waiver. He's not allowed to film it. I don't know what's gonna happen, but he's making me Rice Krispies for peace. I don't fucking know. But I'm not responsible for anything I say or do when I eat them. That's all I'm saying. So we'll definitely have to hook up when I'm out there. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I have some awesome shows coming up, and on 4/20 at 7 p.m. PST, Mr. Ron Placone is joining me for my fundraiser, and I'll be joined by Mike Figueredo as well from Humanist Report. Also, no, they will not be fighting. We are not going to be talking about politics. These are two very, very dear friends who have been more supportive than so many people in my real life. So they offered to join and to help me with the fundraiser. And we're going to be discussing the importance of, representation, since I am the only disabled podcaster, to help me get the equipment to stay on the air. So we're going to be discussing that, Medicare for All, and Marianne Williamson offered to come back and join us as a special guest. So I'm so excited. Again, that's 4/20 at 7 p.m. PST. And thank you so much to everyone who has donated to my GoFundMe. You guys have blown me away. And I love you all so much. Thank you again, Graham. Always good to see you. Much love.
Yeah. Thanks, Joy. Great to see you.
Take care.
All right. Bye. All right. We are still what is up? Let me read I don't know why this TV just went to sleep now. There we go. I will read some. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me, so we've got, what do we got? 119 people, 195 likes. All right. Kind of a low turnout, but I appreciate everybody being here. Stream has ended. Why did the stream end? The stream ended on Rockfin? Hold on. All right, there it is. Okay, sorry. I just said the screen wrong. All right, let me read some tips on rockfin.com. Everybody. Mira Maxwell, Mira, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting the show. You're back. Hope you had a nice break. Happy Crypto Day. Yes, happy Crypto Day to you. Dave, Burt, Dave, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Fellow baseball fan here, throwing the hat for you, brother. Doing the debunking and the entertaining at the same time. Alerts on phone should be resisted through effective boycott. Don't let the mobiles do you in, like Graham says. Yeah, absolutely right. Now he's talking about the thing that we showed at the beginning of the Savage Joy interview. People are getting emergency alerts who are at protests saying you are at a unlawful protest. Leave. So I wouldn't bring your smartphone to a protest, man. So get burner phones or something like that. The Annalise Show, what's up, Annalise? How you doing, sweetie? The People's Party announced today they're opening up for candidate submissions in 2022. Sent you a link on Twitter. I don't know about you, but Elwood 2020 sounds great to me. I retweeted that, Annalise. Thank you so much. I put that on my Twitter feed. If you go to if you go to @Graham Elwood, I put it out there. Where is it? I'll retweet it again. Nominations for the 2022 People's Party. Let's do this. So that's go to my Twitter @Graham Elwood, and you can see that. Thank you, Annalise. MHC, shave your knuckles for justice. Every day seems to add more reasons why we need to break as many people out of the mentality of electoral politics being the be all end all. Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. And thank you, Sharif. Yeah, it's nuts, man. We're still here, still streaming on Rocket. Okay, cool. Yeah. Election's very difficult, but glad the third-party people running their asses off. Yeah, it's making electoral politics the be-all end-all is such a problem. It doesn't mean just to ban, forget it. Like, I was like, hey man, nominate some people you want to run in for the People's Party. You know, like if we get some People's Party candidates in there, it's good. But politics are local. Get third-party and independent people in your local. Like I talk about Kishama Sawant in Seattle. I talk about Nithya Raman, who just made the city council in LA. And they're like socialists, and that's important. So, and getting third-party candidates in there. The ballot measures passed that were important. $15 an hour in Florida, decriminalization of all drugs in Oregon, the legalization of marijuana in Mississippi. These are significant local laws that passed, and this was done through electoral politics. But I think the problem is, like, be involved, vote and stuff, but you got to do a million other things. And this notion that we're going to vote and this hero is going to ride in on a white horse, Bernie or AOC or Tulsi or whatever, and then if they don't, we get mad at people who are criticizing them or where we just lose our shit. That's the problem. That's the real problem. So that's why we have to like really do a million other things. All this past week in Russia, media have been saying, prepare yourselves for war. Yeah, I know, I saw that. They've been ramping up. They're sending troops into the Ukraine and near the Ukraine border. Oh, it's scary. It is scary. AOC isn't a sincere socialist. Oh, not by a long shot. Assume not that. Hold on, there's another segment I wanted to do. Hi, I'm Joe Biden. Where is it? One more thing I want to do. Hold on. I'll be right there. Everybody. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Hold on. All right. All right. Annalise Show. What's up, Annalise? If you enjoy Graham's show, please consider following the Annalise Show on Rockfin. We were censored by YouTube and could use the support. Right on. Annalise is on Rockfin now, so that I'm glad that happened. So we had her on the show last week. She's been deplatformed by YouTube. And another reason to join Rockfin. So if you join Rockfin, you can, and join the Rockfin's free to join. You can watch my video. I have a bunch of free videos. They're ad-free. But if you do Rockfin Premium, which is $10 a month, you get to see all of my premium, Annalise's premium, Ron Placone, everybody on the platform, Whitney Webb, Status Coup, Jimmy Dore, Blee Camp, like everybody gets their premium on there. So support what Annalise is doing. She's, yeah, they're going after us. So we got to stick together. Thanks, Dave, for joining us. Thank you, Dave Bird, for joining us on the Rockfin. I know it's getting late on the East Coast. I'm just going to talk about this, and then I'm going to roll on out. Yeah, just follow Annalise on Rockfin, guys. You're already a Rockfin supporter. Hold on. Sure. We want to do this. Hold on. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. I had to move, but the place I was in, they put it up for sale. In my new place, they don't have, it's been a delay getting the internet, so I'm in a co-working space. I'm sorry, it's not my normal setup, but I do wanted to cover some stories for you. One of them is, obviously, many of you have probably heard about the Minneapolis police killed Dante Wright, and there's been protests, and I wanted to show you Status Coup. This is Jordan Sheridan, who we've had him on the show numerous times. We'll try to get him back on the show, but he has been releasing footage because he gets, you know, he sends a team of people out to cover this who have been covering the protests. There's been 3 straight days of protests in Minneapolis, and this is what the police are doing. Nothing's changed. And this is also while the Derek Chauvin case is going on. But I wanted to show you this. This is what Status Coup has been reporting. Slash their tires so they can't drive away if you need to. Cops in Minnesota created a war zone-like state and arrested Dante Wright protesters along with media covering the events in a highly disturbing night. John Farina Photo fearlessly reports. Let's watch this footage.
Keep moving. I don't know. And then one shot. Right. Look. Get out. Back up. Hands on the back of the seat, man. 2 in here. You guys are all in here. We got three. 3 in here. Slash your tires so they can't drive away if you need to. Wait until you start to get out. Open the door. Leave. Leave. Time to leave. You need to walk this way. We're going to arrest you. You need to walk this way. Thank you. Oh my God. I'm glad you good, bro. Where do you park? Over there. Shit. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go around. You know what? I know. I was right next to him. They just started lighting towards us. Yeah. Shit, where is he? I think he may have gone. Oh, fuck.
Did you see that? Slash their tires so they can't get away. This is America. This isn't Russia. This isn't the Russian cops doing this to Navalny's supporters. This is in Minnesota. They just killed another guy. Derek Chauvin's on trial for murdering George Floyd. We've seen testimony the last week come out of the Chauvin trial where police, commanding officers saying George Chauvin used too much force, excessive force, and this is what they're doing. There's a reason cops repeatedly tried to clear areas of press throughout the night. Follow us on status quo. So, this is what they're doing. This is more from John Farina.
They got a cover thing right. Okay. All right.
They gotta do something. They trying to sit out here look cool.
All right, well, we showed you from a distance before. We can walk up on it now. But there's clearly a vehicle fire, and as we described before, fully engulfed. You've got the smoke coming off it. And when you get this dramatic picture here of a vehicle on fire, I don't want to create the impression that the whole area is on fire. What we have is one vehicle that's burning here in the event of the area surrounding the demonstration. You know how this one started. You see a handful of part of that big. When some of the state troopers were a part of
So there's that. It's this is unbelievable. What we're seeing here, this is really unbelievable. I mean, And the cops just roll in, people protest, and the cops roll in with excessive force. They're armed to the teeth. Those look like they're armed. That's all military grade weaponry. Just like they're wearing, the military was in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we have an occupational force here, which is our police departments. And they're all going to say, oh, hey, man, we were just doing our job. It's peaceful protesting. The protesters got unruly. No, you came in wanting trouble. That's what cops do. There's a problem with our police. I'm so sick of the few bad apples. It's just it's cops want this. They join so they can go thump skulls. And these cops, people are fed up. And people are going to, people already are. The gun sales in the last year have gone through the roof, and it hasn't just been all Second Amendment people. It's been a lot of lefties and whatever. People are just like, I can't, And the cops are just going to keep pushing and pushing and killing people. Finally, people are going to have nothing left, and they're going to fight back. And this is not a third world country. This is not Russia. This is not China, the oppressive government of China. This is the American government. This is the Minneapolis Police Department, and they're acting like every police department in every city in America. That's how they react. The LAPD does it. LAPD gets 54% of LA's operating budget. $3.1 billion the city of Los Angeles gets. And I would wager, I don't know the numbers, I don't have them in front of me, but I would wager just with a little bit of research that Minneapolis's police department gets the majority of the money. And they don't go to social services or the homeless or whatever. And you've got guys like Derek Chauvin who had numerous excessive force, complaints. And they kept him on the force. So don't tell me it's a few bad apples. It's a systemic problem. And these cops think they're all protected with their guns. They're get out of here. And okay, eventually that's going to break down, and people are just going to have had enough. They're going to just like, and it's like what happened in Ireland, in Northern Ireland. The English government kept coming down on people, and people just, the regular citizens were like, the hell with it, man. It's setting cop cars on fire and homemade bombs and seizing weapons, and it's going to get to that. So I don't know. Yeah, someone wrote here, the entire world is a room full of powder kegs, from East Asia to India to the Middle East to North Africa to East Europe to North Africa, and the elites are lighting fireworks in the same room. I know. Yeah, and there's it's starting in Northern Ireland again. So it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So that's just Jordan Sheridan reporting from that. That's his cameraman, John Farina. I don't know that Jordan was there, but that's his camera guy, John Farina, who's been in the thick of a lot of stuff. So that's really it's unreal. It's yeah. So let me show you that again. Did that get, so was it big and blurry for everybody when I maxed it out? Cannot see. Okay. All right, I'll do it again, and I won't. When I expand the screen, I'll do it again. Hold on. Sure. Hold on. We're gonna go. Hold on. I'll do that again, guys. I'm sorry. It was just a tech issue. Okay, sorry. I'll do that again, guys. That's my fault. Snork Y2K. This is not a new studio, Snork. I just I had to move, and my Wi-Fi is not set up yet, so I'm in a co-working space. Here we go. Retake. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. I'm in a temporary space. I had to move. My place went up for sale. The new place, I haven't been a delay in getting the internet installed, so I'm in a co-working space. So bear with me, but I want to cover these stories because the Dante Wright was killed by the Minneapolis police 3 days ago. There's been protests every day, and Status Quo, of course, is there. They have their cameraman on the street. Jordan Sheridan has been on the show, and so I'm just retweeting what Status Quo has put out on Twitter, but I wanted to show you this video of how the Minneapolis police are threatening to. They're saying they're going to just slash people's tires. These are cops just doing it. Someone tries to leave, slash their tires. This is a cop saying this. They just get to do. Cops get to do whatever they want, and we think, oh, Russia is so authoritarian, and China, they're so mean to their citizens. No one's. Look how we treat our own citizens. This is Minneapolis.
Keep moving. I don't know. Get out!
This is military tactics. Get out! Look, they're just crazy, bloodthirsty nutbags. These are you give them badges and hats.
Back up. Hands on the back of the seat, man. Two in here. You guys are all on the three. We got three. Three in here. Slash their tires so they can't drive away if you need to.
That's what he just said. Slash the tires.
Leave. Leave. Time to leave. You need to walk this way. We're going to arrest you. You need to walk this way. Thank you.
You need to walk this way, stupid cop. They say the same dumb thing, like dumb robot cop. You need to walk this way, dumb. They hire dumb people.
Where do you park? Over there. Shit. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go around.
People are going to get weapons and fight back. The most heavily in country in the world.
I don't know.
Guys right next to him. They just started fighting towards us.
Yeah. Shit, where is he?
I think you may have gone.
That's what they do. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. This is what they're doing. This is somebody talking about we're tired of our loved ones not coming home the same way your family would. Do you have compassion? Do you have humanity? Does our black skin scare you that bad? A protester speaks as another stands in simple defiance with Dante Wright's name on his back.
Media and press.
leave the area and disperse to the north. Media and press, leave the area now and disperse to the north.
We're telling the media to leave so they can do whatever they want.
We're tired of our loved ones not coming home. The same way your family was. Do you have compassion? Do you have humanity? Does our black skin scare you to death?
I don't know how to watch this without getting enraged. I don't know how to watch this without getting enraged. No video? What do you mean you're not seeing any video? Really? No video.
Media and press, leave the area and disperse to the north. Media and press, leave the area now and disperse to the north.
All right. No video. Okay, yeah. Thanks for telling me that. Now you see it? Third time's a charm. I wasn't screen sharing. Oh, fuck. Cocksucker. All right, we'll do it again. Jesus Christ. I thought it was screen sharing. Oh. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello, everybody. You're watching The Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. We're in a crazy studio because I had to move and my internet's not set up at my new place, so I'm in a co-working place. But I wanted to talk about what's been going on in Minneapolis the last 3 nights. Status Quo has had their camera person down there. We've had Jordan on the show before. This is his cameraman, John Farina, who was in Minneapolis for the 3rd night's protests. And this is, the cops are saying, slash people's tires who won't disperse. Yep. And they're just telling the media to get it up.
Keep moving. Keep moving. Get out. Get out.
It's infuriating to watch, right? It's infuriating to watch. These are our police. This isn't some 3rd world country where there's some tin pot dictator. This is America.
Back up. Hands on the back of the seat, man. 2 in here. You guys are all on the road. We got 3 in here. Slash their tires so they can't drive away if you need to.
Slash their tires so they can't drive away. That's police. Destruction of property. We have a systemic problem in our place. It's few bad apples. That guy's a few bad apples. Few bad apples. They shot another kid. Few bad apples. Few bad apples. Few bad apples. The Supreme Court allows police departments to reject applicants that are too smart.
Oh my God. I'm glad you did that. Where do you park?
Over there.
Shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go around.
What?
I don't know.
I was right next to him. They just started fighting towards us.
Yeah. Shit, where is he?
I think he may have gone.
There's that one. There's this one.
Media and press, leave the area and disperse to the north. Media and press, leave the area now and disperse to the north.
The same way your family was. Do you have compassion? Do you have humanity? Does our black skin scare you to death?
Kind of makes you want to go around with a gun and just get off-duty cops and just go, get down. And when they go, I'm a cop, just shove them on the ground and bang their head and smash their arm. It kind of makes you want to just do that, right? And when they're trying to be reasonable, just shut up and hit them with a nightstick. Just an off-duty cop. What, I'm a cop. He reaches into his wallet and you just fucking tase him. They're so dumb. They say that dumb thing that only robot dummies think. Sir, but look, I'm part. Sir, I'm going to need you to leave. Yeah, I'm trying to be sir. They just say the same thing because only a moron can say the same thing over and over and not listen and hear. They don't view you as human. They're trained to not look at you as human. Those are our police in the United States. Those aren't Russian cops. Those aren't the Chinese. Those are United States cops. In every police department all over America. I'm so sick of the few bad apples thing. I'm so sick of the few bad apples. Those Blue Lives Matter people were all at the Capitol. A lot of them got the shit kicked out of them by cops. It was nice to see that. Oh wow, now the Blue Lives Matter crowd is getting the crap kicked out of them by cops. I mean, they were treated a lot nicer. They weren't tased as much. There wasn't swarms of cops beating the shit out of them. How come there weren't that many armed cops at the fucking Capitol January 6th? Can someone explain that to me? You see how armed those cops were in Minneapolis. You had credible intel knowing all these people, many of them Nazis. We sent Americans to Germany to kill Nazis in World War II. But on January 6th, we let them just take over the Capitol? Why didn't we kill Nazis on January 6th? Like my uncles who fought in World War II did. Why didn't we kill Nazis? Why did we let them go? I'm sick to death of this. And if you're a cop, you might want to wake the fuck up because you're going to get a target on you. Americans are going to be fed up. They're going to go nuts. And if you keep saying the same, oh, if you bad apples and hey, Dante Wright, what's the Dante Wright? What is it? What, he had a record? What's the bullshit? Oh, he reached for his pocket. He resisted arrest. Blah, 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 blah. How come if all those things that you say are justifiable for killing unarmed black men, then why wasn't everyone who stormed the Capitol mowed down? They should have been gunned down. They were stealing. They were overtaking the Capitol. They should have been mowed down. What happened? Why? Tell me the difference. Tell me the difference. Routine traffic stop, guy gets killed. People take over the Capitol, the seat of power, in a coup, armed with AR-15s and Nazi propaganda. Camp Auschwitz shirts. The Nazis were the sworn enemy of the United States and everyone that was free. Russia, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, anyone in Europe that wasn't taken over by the Nazis, fought the Nazis, and yet we let them take over our capital? So maybe the cops are the Nazis. maybe they've already taken over this country. Why'd you become a cop? Protect and serve, or you just want to fucking shoot people? You want a license to kill? Can you slash people's tires? Get down, get down, get down. I'd like to take any one of those punks one-on-one. Show up without your badge and gun. Can you do it? Could you do it? Go study Ireland in the 70s. Just see what regular people just had enough. They'd had enough. Yeah. It's, yeah, January 6th was planned incompetence. Yeah, really weird. They had all this credible intel that all this was going to happen and they didn't prepare for it. They knew in Minneapolis that there's going to be Dante Wright protests, and that's how they showed up. And something that literally was like 50 to 100 times worse. They knew 100,000 people were coming to the Capitol, and they weren't that prepared as they are for this. It's so weird. They just couldn't get all the gear together. The guys just were all on vacation, or they didn't want to pay the overtime. But in Minneapolis, they can have armed soldiers, basically, suppressing the American people and their right to free speech. And this BLM crowd isn't armed. That the January 16th crowd was armed. What happened? Weird. What a wacky coincidence. Weird response. Huh. There's going to be a Black Lives Matter protest in one city. A couple hundred people, maybe a couple thousand, armed to the teeth, cops armed to the teeth, slash their tires, beat them up, do whatever the fuck you want. 100,000 or more people descending on the Capitol of the United States to try to overtake it and kill people in Congress and the Senate. You have credible intel. Oh, we're just going to send a couple DC cops and let the Capitol Police sit there with fucking squirt guns. Weird. It's weird. No, I guess I'm just a crazy conspiracy theorist. That's one of the reasons I got demonetized. So support us on rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Blockchain cryptocurrency. Buy blockchain. Buy crypto. Buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin. America's a collapsing empire, and this is what it looks like. If you support the police, you support fascism. You are on the wrong side of history. You are basically supporting the German military in the early 1930s. There you go. I got friends that are cops. They're more than welcome to call me up and discuss this or come on the show if they'd like. It won't be fun for them because they're going to have to be inundated with facts and truth. Thanks for watching. All right. Let's see if there's any more. And we read the tips on Rockfin. Thank you for supporting the show. I got to run here. Laura Goat, what's up, Laura? Shave your knuckles for justice. Hey, Graham. It should be duly noted that a very large percentage of cops are ex-military, and their violent and brutal behavior is the residual effect of the dehumanizing treatment of the population of countries that have been victims of endless illegal regime change war. These are just examples of how they've been treating people around the world for decades. Yeah, I know. And now they're treating us this way. Yeah. Chris, shave your knuckles for justice. I mentioned it earlier in the show, but the Dumb as Rock Pigs you talk about has a prime example in Fresno, California right now. Have to check out this now. Fire cop dresses up and kills and has undercover names while patrolling the streets and letting out his roid rage. His stupid face and sunglasses to hide his weak ass says it's see, look at his pathetic ass up. Officer Rick Fitzgerald is the punk. Wow. Nuts. Annabelle, shave your knuckles for justice. The people of Northern Ireland said enough senseless killing because of religion. They pressured the government and the radical forces to surrender. They did it. It is possible. I know. Ed Hubel, boom. Thank you, Ed. Keep fighting. I appreciate it. It's time for all of us to engage in direct action. I know. I know. One way or another. Who keeps dumping Ray tokens or messing me up. All right, guys, I got to go. But thank you so much for supporting what we do. Can't really do karaoke here. I got to talk in hushed tones. So thanks for supporting what we do. I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow because this is kind of janky, but I'll be dropping clips tomorrow. And hopefully Friday, if my internet gets set up Friday, I will be in the studio live streaming Friday. So that's my plan. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody on Rockfin for supporting our show. I really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button. That always helps. Thank you everybody at Rockfin and on YouTube for supporting our show. We got over 262 likes. Not bad. Thank you so much. Yeah. Follow the money. Connect the dots. That's where you find the truth. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom, boom.